We know Australia can be scary with all of the animals that they have there that's constantly out to get you, but have you heard of the Button Man? You haven't? Okay, well, let me tell you all about him because he's scary. So, in Southeast Australia is a state called Victoria, and in that state is what is called as the High Country. And it is hard to get to. Apparently, you have to have like a four-wheel drive, some kind of like off-road vehicle, something like that. You can't just get there in a regular car. So this guy and his girlfriend go up there for the weekend. This place is such like a rough terrain to get to that locals or whoever's going typically stop and tell the sheriff or the police department that they're going. They get there, and as far as they know, they're the only ones that's there. So they set up their tent, they get ready for bed after they have dinner and all that crap. Well, then they hear something in the middle of the night. Well, he just thinks it's like a wombat or something like that and doesn't really pay much attention to it. But when he gets up in the morning, he goes and checks, and the food has been like moved around, and there has been like a bite out of a piece of bread. So he asked his girlfriend, he's like, did you do this? And she's like, no, I've been in the tent with you all night. So it wasn't like an animal. So they're like, who has been here? So they start looking around, and there's like footprints, right? He just goes on about his day. And back in 1917, near that area, there was this homestead that he wanted to go look at where all of these like unsolved murders happened. So he goes there, he's wandering around, he reads the plaque. She goes down to like the river and washes out like the plates and stuff. When he comes back, he sees her kind of coming at the same time, and she just looks terrified. So he immediately is caught off guard, like what's going on. So she tells him that while she was down there and she was like bent over the creek, like washing everything up, she sees this old weird dude standing across, looking at her from the bush, right? He's just staring at her. He immediately wants to know what he looks like. And she said, well, he's like tattered looking. He's like 70 something. Like he's this older guy. He had like antlers with him and this big like sharp thing, like. So he gets her calmed down. They go on about their night. He's like, clearly this guy's not going to come back and bother us, or he would have already. Well, she needs to go pee. So she's like, I don't want to go by myself. Like, I'm not going out in the woods by myself. You come with me. So he goes with her, and they go out into the woods. She goes to the bathroom. They come back, and that guy is standing there at like their table, right? Just standing there. His girlfriend freaks out and grabs him by the arm and was like, oh my God, that's that dude I was telling you about. The guy just happens to be standing right beside his, like, he's standing there beside it. So he's like, oh, great. Here's this weird guy. I've got my girlfriend. What does he want? He's like, g'day, mate. And that's the end of my Australian accent because I can't do it and I'm not going to butcher it. He says, you scared us. Like, what are you doing here? And he said, well, I saw you come in last night. I've been out here for a long time. Like, I live out here. What's this for? And gestures to the. He looks at him and he's just like, well, we just brought it to have. And he said, I hope you're not out here to hunt because there's not very many deer out here and I hunt out here. And he tells him like, no, we have no intention of hunting. We're just out here hiking and everything. It's like, oh, okay, well, he just acts like really weird, but he's got like stretchers, like expanders in his ear, but they're deer antlers, right? And the buttons on his clothes he had made out of carving them from the deer antlers, which is why they call him the Button Man, okay? The girlfriend's so creeped out, she's like, I gotta get the hell out of here. Like, I'm not staying here another night, like we're leaving. So they pack up all their stuff, even though it's dark, and they get the hell out. So as they're driving out, she goes to check her camera, and the memory card's gone. He took the memory card out of her camera. So when they get home, they're telling everybody like, hey, this is what happened. And they're like, oh, you saw the Button Man, because he's lived out there for a long time. And there's all these unsolved murders that they kind of trace back to this guy, but they don't have enough evidence to prove that it's him. But at least you got out and lived to tell the tale, right? Right? Who is this Button Man? Why is he out there? Have you heard of him? Like, have you met the Button Man? I'm interested. I'm intrigued. I want to know more about this Button Man, but I'm also terrified of this old dude. If you like stories like this, like, comment, share, follow for more.